Good morning, good morning. We'll wait here as we get a few people to join up with us. Hop on the other side. All right. Good morning, folks. Thanks for joining us today. Welcome you to our Live with LAFD. I'm Firefighter Margaret Stewart, and today we are at one of our fire stations in West LA, Fire Station 59, and we have Task Force 39 that's doing some company drilling today. This is what we call a young crew, meaning there are a number of members that they have several probationary firefighters, a couple that are freshly off probation, only have a couple years experience. So they're going to be working on a lot of basic company operations. It's critical that this training continues, especially when you have a young crew, so that everybody knows what their job is, what they're going to do. They can work through any issues now in training, so that when the alarm tones and they go out the door, they're ready for it. You only get so much training in the academy. It's when you come out to the field that you have to really put it to use. So I'm going to flip you around here so you can see what's happening. So we have at this tower, you can see we have some smoke showing. This is all part of the training. This is one of the drill towers that were used back in the day. Now it's used for company training. So they set up some smoke to simulate a structure fire. They're getting geared up, and then they're going to respond in as a task force. So you can see everybody getting geared up right now. And I just do want to address that we aren't out in the public. We're in a contained training area here, so we don't have any other interactions. And this is, full out, real time, realistic training. So we aren't wearing masks. We're doing what we have to do, because regardless of what may be going on, we have to continue to train and be prepared. So if you have any questions while they're getting suited up, let me know. Good morning. What are the fire engine numbers that are there from Black Box? So this is what we call a task force. So you can see this is truck 39. You can see the number on the side of our rigs, along with what we call a pump. So you see it says engine 239. That engine goes with that truck, and that's what we call a light force. They respond together because the engine provides the water and the pump for the truck. And with that light force, let me swing you around over here, you'll see engine 39. So you can see this is engine 39. It's what we call a triple, meaning it responds independently. So the engine will respond to calls separately from the light force, but when they're together, that's what we call a task force. So that's how we're structured. So they're going to respond in as if the entire task force is responding into this call. We have questions of hiring. We are in an application period until June. If you go to our website, joinlafd.org, you'll find out all the details there. Hello from Belgium. So this is one of our aerial ladder trucks. We have tiller trucks, so it's a 100-foot aerial ladder that will extend up. They're going to be responding in to this building. So anybody want to try giving me a size up? What we call a size up is a description of what you see when you arrive on scene. So if anybody wants to try to give us a size up, I'll take a look. Park Riley's asking how many crew on each apparatus. Our truck, so the light force has 6, the engine has 4, so that's a total of 10 people in the task force, plus the rescue. So this is an 800, what we call an 800. So that's a BLS, an EMT ambulance, firefighter EMT, and then the other rescue is here somewhere. So they'll have an additional 4 people, 2 on each rescue. So they'll have 14 people responding in. It's got a 4-story, Stoffberry says 4-story concrete building with light smoke showing. Excellent. What we'll also do is try to say, give more clarity as to what floor the smoke is showing from. It looks like we lost a little bit of our smoke, but it would be, the 3rd and 4th, smoke showing from the 3rd and 4th floor. All right. And what we'll probably do this morning is I'll end up breaking off and coming back with multiple, let me turn you around here. May end up coming back with a couple different sessions as they run through an operation and then break it down. So if we do leave, keep checking us out and we'll probably come back. Let's see, whatever, do EMTs rotate on the apparatus? From Fredson Fire 85. Well, we're all EMTs. Let me back that up. We're all firefighter EMTs, and then some are firefighter paramedics. So everybody that's not a paramedic is an EMT. So it's more about, do the paramedics rotate off of the rescue onto one of the fire apparatus? And that depends on what station you're at. Some you do rotate, some you're permanent rescue. So that depends. Oops, okay, who is this? Leo Kaufman. Hello, Leo. Metro from so I'm reading Leo's size up, like we were on the radio. So it's Metro from Task Force 39 at Fire Station 58, although we're at 59s. We have a 4-story commercial concrete construction with light smoke showing from the 3rd floor. We'll be in an invest mode. Close, although we have smoke showing like this, they're gonna be in an offensive mode. So they're gonna take fire attack. Hey, Santa Clara County Sheriffs, hello to you. All right, let me get you turned back around. So they're getting loaded up. We're kind of in a stall pattern here as they get themselves sorted. So you can see that I don't know if let me see if I can, that red bag he's carrying is what we call a drop bag. So that has rope. You can see suited up. We carry our face piece in that front right pocket. You see that's kind of bulging a little bit. He's got his axe. All right, everybody's getting in. You can hear the rigs turning on. Okay. And we have had questions about what type of apparatus we have. Hopefully you can still hear me. It's going to get noisy here, so I'm going to move the mic up. We have a variety within our fleet. Seagraves, Truck, LaFrance, Pierce, KME, and a variety of years. So I can't really give an easy answer to that because we have a fleet that covers a number of them. So this is the 800 Rescue. We're going to move out of the way over here so you can watch. And just an interesting note, this building, that office door there does not give you access into the towers. So the only way in is through a ladder into one of the windows. So now we can see a bit better the smoke showing from the 3rd and 4th floors. And lights are on, so we're getting ready here. Somebody asked who covered 39's area. So the way this works is they'll have specific training days and we'll have what we call move-ups. So an engine or a truck from another task force will move into 39's and cover the calls for that area so that we can get out, so that every company gets the chance to get out and do some training. So this is not ongoing training. Yeah, this facility here is just used for company training. This is not where we run our academies. All right, I think we got some action going. We hear the maxis coming off. Debbie Brown, hello Margaret. Hello, back to you, Debbie. Somebody's asking if this is a live burn. It's just smoke. There is no burn happening here. It's just a smoke machine. As I mentioned, we have a lot of young members on this crew, and so they want to provide a simulation. There'll be reduced visibility when they go inside. All right, back it up. So we have the truck responding in. The truck will lead the task force in. It'll be the truck and then the engine, which the engine is coming, and then the pump will be behind them. That's the order in which they respond. So the engine is going to be moving into position for fire attack. The truck gets in position for the aerial ladder. So you can see that on the top there, that's what we call the tillerman, the tiller position. They're in the doghouse. Now they've exited on the side. You can see them getting their breathers on. The captain sitting in the seat is right now, he's the incident commander. We're going to move out of the way here. The captain too on the truck is the incident commander until a battalion chief shows up. So that captain remains in the vehicle to provide all radio communications and tracking where all the companies are. So there won't be a battalion chief here, but if a battalion chief were to show up, then they would move in. So now we have the 35-foot extension ladder going into action. And the engineer is pulling the supply line. So as you can see, it's like it's a dance, really. There are numerous things taking place. So the engine company, you can see, carrying high-rise hose packs on their shoulder for fire attack. They're climbing the ladder to make their way into the structure, while at the same time, you've got the truck is putting up the 35-foot extension ladder. The first thing they're going to do is throw ladders to the building before they would then make their way to a roof. Obviously, they're not going to be doing any ventilation on this roof. So the engine is now making their way. So the captain is coming up the ladder now, making their way into the structure, and they'll advance up. And you won't be able to hear the radio calls here, but they'll be communicating what they find back to the incident commander. We've got a question about how you track firefighters. That's the job of the incident commander. So that's why the captain, you see, is in the vehicle, and they know that the engine is gone on fire attack. They know who's going to the roof, and that's all tracked on a tracking sheet. Somebody's asking about a scanner. They won't be operating on any channel that you'd be able to pick up. This is just internal training. So now you can see what's called a drop bag operation. Let me zoom you in up here. This is one way we can get lines aloft. So he's thrown a drop back down. The engineer is going to attach that to a hand line, and then that firefighter will pull it up, so they now will have an additional line up onto the floor that they need it. So there goes the line. They'll pull it up using the drop bag, then they'll take the rope off of the nozzle and they'll start pulling the line until they have enough line that they can extend it to where they need to go. So they'll pull up a couple 100 feet. Each, what we call stick, each coupling to coupling is a 50-foot stick. So now you can see the engineer is giving them some extra slack to pull up, and then when he thinks they've got enough and they stop pulling, then he'll be able to hook it up to the engine. So they have to make sure they have enough line to go up the rest of the stairs to the fire floor. So that's why they continue to pull. Once they're done, you can see them, the engineer's watching them, and now he's probably gonna detach at that coupling. He's checking to make sure they have enough line, and they're gonna have to secure it against the railing so it doesn't pull back. And now he's disconnected it. You can see the supply line filling from the hydrant. That's going into the engine, and he's got the hand line now hooked up to the engine, and then he'll send the water through that line. You can tell it's not loaded yet. Meantime, they're making their way up the stairs. They'll be what we call flaking out, which means extending out the hose line all the way up into the floor they need to go into. See, they're going up to the top floor, up the fire escape. We do this so that because if the fire is interior there, we can set up in a safe place outside and then make our way once we have the water loaded into the line. We have our breather on. We don't want to enter that area, the hazardous area, until we have all the safety equipment. So you can see they're sending for another line now. So the engineer from the pump, he got the hydrant established. Now he's come over to help out, and now we're going to have another line aloft. Somebody's asking why no electronic tracking. It's not a system that we use here. So we've got another line going aloft. We're going to move you in a little bit closer so you can see what the engineer does. And if you have any questions, keep asking. I will try to pick up on them. All right. Somebody's asking what station this is. This is Task Force 39 that's doing the training. So you can see this is the water coming in from the hydrant into the pump, and then these are the discharge lines. So you can see now this line is loaded versus the line that's not loaded. Someone's asking who does the 360. So we have two captains, a captain 1 and a captain 2. The captain 1 is on the engine. They're the ones that went up the ladder. We can't do a 360 here, but that's what he would have done first. He would have radioed that to the captain 2. The captain 2 is working as the incident commander. All right, so let's see if we can get you up, all the way up there. So they brought the first line here, and now they're bringing it up to the 4th floor. You see, this is the 35-foot extension ladder. What radios we use Motorola's. How many hoses are kept on the truck? So the truck doesn't carry hose. We call this the engine, and then the truck is the one with the aerial ladder. Our engines have different complements. So we have the 1.75 inch, next to that's the 1.5 inch, and next to that is the 1 inch that's used primarily for brush. And then on the back of the engine, this is our 4-inch supply line. It's rubber, so that's held on the left. And on the right, you can just see in the corner there is the 2.5 inch, which can be used both as a supply line and as a hand line, primarily for defensive operations. So now the engineer is manipulating. So that what he was doing there is the relief valve that makes sure that it doesn't exceed the pressure that he sets it at. So he's watching to make sure they're ready for it. And once he turns that valve, it'll start to load that line. So now you can see that water's starting to flow. Slowly, we don't want to load it too quickly, because then it's called a hammer. So you can see as this line is loading gradually, it will now send that water all the way back up to the crew. And normally, in a real fire, that would be black smoke, and then once they start getting water on the fire, it would be turning white. And that's when you could tell that you're now getting water on the fire. So now I'm just going to listen to your radio. So
Division 4 from IC, Roger. Getting water on the fire. Are you going to need any assistance up there?
I'm giving you a chance to hear some of the radio communications.
Engine company, backup fire attack. Roger. I've got engine 88 on the way up there to assist you.
So as you can hear right there, that was the Captain 2 on the truck, acting as the IC, telling them what resources are coming. So there are no other resources coming, but they're acting as if there would be. So that's a little bit of the radio traffic. You heard him, the captain was calling in that they're getting water on the fire. So they're in constant communications updating them, because if the situation was not improving, they were not able to reach the seat of the fire, maybe it was too deep, it's too hot, they're going to tell the incident commander that, and that's going to be a cue that we're going to need to get more resources. Perhaps we need to back out, go defensive. It could be any number of things, but that constant communication as to what's happening is critical. So now we can see that they're so there you can see they're getting that line all the way up. They're on air, and they're making their way into the window that's on that 4th floor. And you have the truck members on the roof walking through what would be a vertical ventilation, but obviously that's not going to happen here. We've had some questions about wood ladders. Yes, we use wood ladders. They're manufactured by Alico. We maintain them at the stations. There's a variety of reasons, but a couple of those are they don't conduct electricity. And when they do get damaged, we can repair them as opposed to just having to be replaced like a metal ladder. Thanks for all the support. So a lot of what's happening now is interior, and so we're not going to really be able to see that. But I'm going to come over here and give you a look at what we call the hydrant operation. So we follow this supply line all the way back to the hydrant, you can see that the engineer hooked up to just direct to the 4-inch supply on the hydrant, and then so this is the outlet from the hydrant, this is the valve that opens this side, and on the top you can see the spanner that's still on the valve that starts the water flowing here. You can follow it into the engine, so it's going into the keystone, and then this is the discharge that it comes out, and this is what is going around and supplying the engine at the front. So they're getting the water in. Sorry, I'm zoomed up a little bit. There we go. They get the water in, and then they're bringing it back out. I've got some question about who I am. So for those that weren't here initially, my name is Firefighter Margaret Stewart, and I'm here showing you an inside look live with LAFD on some company training. So this is Task Force 39. They're out of Van Nuys up in the valley, and they're here with a young crew. They have a couple probationary firefighters, a couple that are just off, only a few years of experience. So it's really important that this kind of teamwork, as you could see in the beginning, there's a lot happening and everyone needs to know what their job is. And while you learn the basics at the academy, it's when you get to the field that you really learn how to put it all into action. So that's what they're out here doing. So they just replicated a structure fire, and I think they're getting ready to break down, and we'll move on to the next operation. I'm going to see if I can catch the captain for you here. Let's see if we can get Captain Schilling just to give us a quick overview of what they did. Hey, hold on a second. I don't want to impose. See if we can get him to talk to us. Hold one. Hey, Cap, would you mind just giving us a really brief, just what your company just went through? What we just did? Hold on a second, let me get you the mic.
So basically what we did was a task force company operation. We have a brand new company, Rescue 839, that we've attached. So now we're out here doing a multi-company operation, drove familiarity with the new 2 members that we have on our shift. So what we did is we simulated a pre-60, 6-story residential high-rise, or actually residential building. We had fire on 2 floors. What we did was we were able to establish a fire attack on the 4th floor and 5th floor. We were successfully able to complete a search and rescue if we found any victims. We also had a successful knockdown on the fire on both floors, as well as ventilation from the roof, and that's what we were working to accomplish.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, so what I'm going to do now is just break away. They're gonna break down this gear and get ready for another operation. So we'll try to come back for hopefully for one more. If you have any, are there any questions before I sign out on this? The tallest building we have in LA, it's the US Bank building. Looks like everybody's enjoying these drills. This is great. A question if he's the truck captain. Yes. So in the LAFD, we have 2 captain ranks. Captain 1 is on the engine. The Captain 2 is on the truck. And if there is a truck at the station, that Captain 2 is the station commander. We don't have lieutenants in our department, so we have the Captain 1, Captain 2, and then the next rank is battalion chief. All right. So I think, cadet, yes, we have I don't know how many, but we have a number of cadet posts. You can go to our website, lafd.org, and go into the About and Volunteer section, and you can learn about those. All right. Well, we will hopefully be back shortly, and we hope to see you then. All right. Thanks, everyone. Be safe.